The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya may have been the title which made the light novel adaptations popular, but it was a Shakugan or Shana, the title which popularized urban fantasy and battle harems. It was a something new for its time instead of the saturated mess it became today, combining fighting shonen with rom-coms. Its formula became a staple that for many years any similar show was humorously called a Shana clone. What contributed to that was nobody still remembered the 3x3 eyes from the 90s. Many were starving for an anime similar to Fate Stay Night and couldn't wait a year to be disappointed, and having teenagers with transforming swords in high schools at a time when Bleach was becoming famous was also an easy way to be the first title everybody were recommending. Basically, Shakugan no Shana came out when the stars were aligned and everything was going in its favor. Circumstances aside, it also had many of the usual elements that could hype a new series regardless of the time it came out. A catchy premise about an alternative world full of monsters, demon slayers and victims getting replaced by fakes. Good production values for its time, albeit they worsen along with the notoriety of the bad job Studio JC stuff was doing with all its shows. An overcomplicating terminology to make it sound smarter than it actually was, so the pretentious overthinkers could have a blast. A famous voice actress, Riku Gimiya voicing a loli tsundere, and a spicy chemistry between the main characters. So, what went wrong? The plot did. Compared to the overcomplicating terminology, it was way too simple and was boiling down to a beta male and a loli tsundere beating generic monsters. There was a build-up, but it couldn't excuse the slow and almost uneventful bulk of the episodes. The first season ended with the tsundere confessing her love, only to completely forget it in the beginning of the second and head for aimless filler missions. As for the third season, the guys at the storyboard gave up and went bones on it. Nothing made sense and was presented in a vague, rushed and dull way. In a few words, the setting went to waste, the story sucked and pacing was terrible. Eventually it was not a story most were fond of as was Shana, one of the most memorable tsunderes for defining the archetype in modern times by yelling "Urusai" every 5 minutes. She also had infinite potential to evolve as a character which kept everybody's hopes up, only to disappoint them with how they erased the love confession in the second season and had no idea of what they were doing with her character in the third. Yuji, the other lead character, is one of the few cases when he doesn't remain the beta male with no personality all modern shows must have. He clearly matures and grows stronger in the second season, and even becomes a bad guy in the third. He otherwise spends most of the time being the same old spineless idiot, mistreated by the tsundere for some down-to-death rom-com comedy. The third season is also a mess and doesn't do him justice. Down to it, it was yet another light novel plot with all the usual bullshit that come along with it. Shallow philosophy, cheap plot armor, pseudo-intelligent terminology, and fan service for loli tsundere fans. Just like it happened with Sword Art Online, the Shana phenomenon was a dud, overhyped by viewers with little exposure to good anime, and with their lolly goggles constantly on. It began as "this is a masterpiece unlike anything we have ever seen before," and slowly got demoted to just another light novel piece of shit, before eventually getting completely overshadowed by Soul Eater.